Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Chase here at Rocky Mountain. Thank you so much for stopping by. Say hello to the all-new ATR-3 from 6D Helmets, the company that, in my opinion, revolutionized the off-road helmet industry. They're back at it again. This is their fifth iteration of the ODS technology. Well, they started out the ATR-1, which, like I said, I think revolutionized everything. Then they had the ATR-2, and now you have the 3. And what really separated 6D when they first came out is their ODS technology. It's omnidirectional suspension is what that stands for. And with their ATR-1, when they first came out, it had 2 liners on the inside, separated by their isolation dampers. Some other cool technology that really nobody had seen before. And in my opinion, I think a lot of other companies saw that and said, oh boy, we've got some work to do. So props to 6D for doing that. And it's cool to see that they don't get complacent, because now you have the ATR-3. And with this helmet, obviously you can see looks-wise, it's much different looking. So they're actually using carbon fiber in the shell now. But what the 3 main goals of the new ATR-3 is they wanted to lighten it up, which they did substantially. I'll talk about how much they did here in just a little bit. They wanted to improve the ventilation design, and of course, they wanted to make it even safer than the ATR-2. We'll talk about how they did that as well. Now, for me personally, I've been riding in the ATR-2 for a while. It's one of the helmets that I choose personally to ride in. And I get asked a lot, what's the safest helmet? People say, hey Chase, is this helmet safer than that one? And to be totally honest with you, I can't tell you what helmet is safer than the other. What I always like to tell riders is, look, if you are riding a helmet that has technology that you feel is going to keep you safe in the event of a crash, then that's the helmet that you should ride in if you have confidence in it. For me, I just believe in the 6D technology, which is why I've chosen to ride in the ATR-2. And what's great about the ATR-3 is that all the little nitpicks that I had about the 2, they've fixed or they've updated with the new 3 version. And to be totally honest with you, the only 2 things about the ATR-2 that I thought could be a little bit better was the weight, because yes, you were over 3 pounds for that helmet in a size medium, and nowadays you see a lot of these companies are sub 3 pounds, so they're a little bit behind there. And then just as far as looks go, it was never my favorite looking helmet, but I was totally okay with that because I love the helmet safety technology. But now with the 3, look at this thing. I love the new lines, the aggressive styling of this. And even the lines on here, that was all done with a purpose as well that we're gonna get into. But comment down below, what do you think about the look of the new ATR-3? Personally, I love this thing. This is the all black carbon version. They've got a lot of really cool colorways to choose from, but little 360 view here. Now you are gonna be DOT and ECE 2206 certified as far as the fit goes. So it fits for me just like the ATR-2 did. So I wear a size medium, so the fit for me is true to size. You can use a sizing guide on the product page. But remember, we do have our fit guarantee. If you buy this, if you don't like how it fits, you can send it back in brand new unused condition. We'll give you free shipping both ways on your first exchange. So what I would say is put the helmet on, wear it for a little while. Don't go riding it, but just wear it in your house. Make sure you're not feeling any crazy hot spots. And if you decide, you know what, I need to go up or down in size, send it back. We'll give you free shipping both ways on your first exchange to make sure you get the size and the fit that's gonna be best for you. If I noticed one thing at all, I would say that it does fit a little bit tighter than the ATR-2, but I also know that those pads, they are gonna break in a little bit, so I'm not worried about that. That is why we do have our fit guarantee. So you've got 3 shell sizes. As far as the weight goes, size medium in the ATR-2 was 3 pounds 2 ounces. With this, 2 pounds 14 ounces. They shaved 4 ounces off this helmet. So 6D, welcome to the sub 3 pound club. And you might not think that 4 ounces is a lot. That's almost a half pound, and it's pretty substantial. When you hold the 2 in your hand, you notice that weight savings. I didn't really feel like the ATR-2 felt as heavy as it was on the scale, but this thing feels super light. And when you couple that with a better ventilation design, you're gonna have a helmet that's gonna be very comfortable for all day riding, which I'm stoked about. Okay, as far as the shell goes, so with the shell, it's 3K carbon fiber composite. So this is cool. It's the first time we're seeing 6D actually use a carbon fiber layout on their shell. Now, not all colorways, you're gonna see that carbon fiber. Obviously with this all black, you can see it. Like I said, I think it looks awesome. But with the new shell design, like I said, you've got these nice aggressive lines on here, but you'll notice that right here on this edge and even on the sides here, not only was that done just to update the look of the helmet, but these raised portions, they did that on purpose. There's actually more EPP liner, and we'll talk about the EPS and the EPP in a minute, but that allowed them to put more EPP, which is energy absorbing material, inside the shell to help give more energy absorption in the event of an impact. So the design was to look cooler, but also to make you safer as well, which I think is awesome. But that's actually not even how they really lighten this helmet up. They simplified the helmet on the inside, which we're going to show you here in just a moment. As far as the venting goes, so when they talked about improving the venting design, so you've got vents here just above the eye port, you've got some here on the chin bar, you've got some here underneath the visor, but they said the big emphasis was just, they were more methodical with where they put the vents and channeling that air to get it through the helmet. They call it ram air, so now with these vents up here on top, they're directing air directly down into that brow area, and then with the exhaust vents, they're just trying to get as much of that air out as possible. And they talked about some of the rider feedback was that they didn't really notice a ton while riding, but where they noticed it was when they would stop riding. Obviously, you've got a lot of heat built up, you want that to get out. They felt like the helmet was cooler when they weren't riding. So it's just helping that hot air escape out of the helmet. The visor is still adjustable, which I like. So shear away screws, center screw right here. You're gonna have about, if I loosen that, I'd say 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of adjustability with that. Now 6D's visors are never known for being very long. In fact, they're pretty short. So what's nice is that when you buy one, they do include this visor extension. So for wet, rainy, muddy conditions, if you wanna block a little bit more of that, they do include this visor extension. Going back to the look again, I love the look, how it's now kind of just sits flush with the top of the shell. Again, comment below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I love it. All right, as far as another little update, right here on the mouth guard. So this roost guard right here is now removable, which I think is a welcomed improvement, because with the ATR-2, sometimes I felt like I could see this piece and it's not removable on the 2. Now, if you put this helmet on, you feel like you can see part of this, the roost guard here, and you want to take that off, you can remove it in just a matter of seconds, and it's really easy to put back on. So another little refinement that they made to this thing. You do have a clavicle cutout right here on the bottom of the shell. Again, just trying to give a little bit more room for your collarbone to help reduce injuries there. And that's the outside. Like I said, a lot of updates, very cool. Let's get to the inside here. And before we do that, we got to talk about this right here. So as I mentioned earlier, I feel like 6D kind of revolutionized the helmet market, and they did it by this. When the ATR-1 came out, it had the 2 liners, the omnidirectional suspension, those isolation dampers. It was really cool to see. And so like I said, this is their 5th iteration. They've gone through different generations. With the ATR-3, one of the ways that they lightened this helmet up so much was by simplifying everything that they had on the inside, but even by simplifying it, it's still more efficient than the ATR-2, and so like I said, they tried to make it even safer. Now, what you have on here, because there's a lot to digest, but you have 2 liners. You have EPS, which is going to be closest to the rider's head. That is expanded polystyrene, and that's what we've been seeing in helmets for a lot of years now. And then you have EPP, which is your second liner here that's contacting the shell. The difference between these two is that the EPS liner is much more dense, much firmer, and that's going to be for your high-speed impacts. And with EPS and PPP, or EPP, excuse me, you can get those in different densities. But the EPS on this helmet, you can see, is much more dense, high-speed impacts. The EPP, much softer, that's going to be for your low-speed impacts. And what's cool is that not only do you have those 2 liners, but you notice that you have this low-friction coating over top of the EPS. And there's been a lot of emphasis on rotational energy management over the years. And so what they're trying to do is just mimic what your head already does for you. So in the event that you have a crash, forward, back, side to side, doesn't matter, you want your head to continue slipping or rotating inside the helmet. And the way that you do that is by allowing the liners on the inside to move when you have that impact. And so you have these 2. This low friction liner, and then you can kind of see a couple of them here. You have these little red discs. So those are just creating another low friction barrier. And that allows these 2 liners to slide and move as much as possible. Now also you have the isolation dampers. Those have been around for a long time, but you can see they've gotten rid of some of those, so they're less than what you had in the ATR-2. And then even with those discs, they have less of those discs. And then this ODS carrier, which is this black piece right here, on the ATR-2 was this skeleton that went over the entire EPS liner. Well, they said that they just didn't need all of that. So by reducing the isolation dampers, by reducing the amount of discs in that carrier, they simplified it, they lightened it, but it's still more efficient than what they had before. So they've improved the safety, if you can believe that, with the ATR-3. And another little cool feature, so we talked about earlier with that shell design, where you can see right here up in the front, here in the back, you can see they've added thickness with that EPP to help absorb as much impact, and they have what they call towers on the EPP. So it's gonna be hard to see with this cutaway, but on the inside there, they just have these little pieces that come down a little bit farther, again, just to help absorb as much of that energy as it possibly can. So that's the safety technology on the inside, simplified, but better. Now, let's talk about just the actual guts of the helmet here. So, one feature I love, listen to this. You ready? Oh, magnetic chin strap. That is a feature that I wish every helmet had. With regular chin straps, sometimes it's hard to snap those. I've had a couple break on me before. With this, it's fail-proof. It works every time. You don't have to worry about breaking that. And then with the D-rings, those are titanium. Again, just lighten it up. As far as the cheek pads go, so on the bottom here, so you've got the assist poles. So if you're trying to get these out, so if a rider goes down, you want to get the cheek pads out before you can try to take the helmet off. So they want to make that as easy as possible. So they have this tab right here. Now, word of advice, when you look at these snaps on the inside of these cheek pads, if your helmet right now just has a normal snap where you just press it in and you try and pull this cheek pad out like you would your previous helmet, you could damage these. You want to make sure that you pull forward or towards the chin or the mouth guard, then pull the cheek pad out. Be mindful of that, and I'll show you why here in just a moment. But another cool little feature is that they have these little elastic tabs right here. That's for a hydration system. So if you have a sip tube, that will just hold those in place. But when you go to pull these out, what you want to do is pull forward, and it will just pop right out. Don't just pull straight this way, side to side. Pull forward and out. And here's why. When you look at where those enter, you notice that it's not just a straight snap, and it needs to slide forward first. If you just try and pull it out, you might damage those. Another cool little update too is that now you do have speaker cutouts. So if you want to rock a Bluetooth comm system in here, that just makes it a little bit easier to do so by putting your speakers right there. Comfort liner. Same comfort liner as the ATR-2, which I've had no issues with. It's comfortable, moisture wicking, antimicrobial. I've washed mine. Machine wash it, hand wash it. I just wash it on cold, let it air dry, it's good to go. If you want to be really careful, just hand wash it, let it air dry. But again, you can see lots of cutouts on here just to help with circulation of the air. On the inside, there is your EPS. You can see a lot of channels that are cut in here to help that air circulate. A lot of these holes are going directly to the outside, again, trying to help that hot air escape. And they now have this little piece here. So it is eject helmet removal ready. So this is not the actual piece. This is just a placeholder. If you want to get the Eject helmet removal system, we have that available on our website. You would buy that, but you just install it right here. It's just a little airbag that has a little tube that comes down. If you ever watch Supercross or Motocross, you pay attention. All the riders are required to have this system in their helmet, because what happens is that if you crash, they're getting the helmet off you, they can actually just plug in a little pump to that tube that comes down. It will inflate that airbag and just push the helmet off the top of your head. We've done a video on it, you go check it out, but they now have that available, ready to take that. But again, there's the EPS, and like I said, if you were to look at this helmet from just the inside, you would never know that all this is hiding underneath there, and that's what 6D is known for. And you can also see right here, you see those vents, again, from those air vents you have up here on the top, pushing air directly inside here. And that's it. That is the 6D ATR-3. Really cool to see them come out with an all-new helmet. Again, all the things that I could have nitpicked with the ATR-2, they've addressed that now with this one. It's lighter, better ventilation, and I love that not only have they simplified to keep it lighter, but they've made it even better. So if you have questions or comments about this, please leave those down below. We will help get those answered. To grab yours, click on the link or head over to RockyMountainATVMC.com. You know the deal. We ship for free over 75 bucks. If you want to stay up to date on videos like this, you can subscribe to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel. I am Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.